settlement, and maturity. We have seen through these changes a firsthand and marked increase in pre-trade collateral due diligence by secured funding investors. We fully acknowledge that there is considerable work remaining for the industry that requires senior leadership focus, commitment, and investment by all participants in the market. We are committed to continuing to collaborate with investors, the two clearing banks, and our regulators to complete the remaining work streams and to advocate for a timeline that is acceptable to all stakeholders. Morgan Stanley's overarching goal in tri-party repo reform is investor confidence. The meaningful reduction in intraday credit extension, transparency in collateral, and advance rates, combined with a more sound and durable operational platform, are all positive steps towards this goal. We have prioritized our resource commitments in the context of the Tri-Party Reform Committee's agenda on initiatives designed to retain the confidence of our secured funding investors, the cash providers. With lessons learned following the crisis, Morgan Stanley has worked over the past several years to add significant risk management enhancements to our secured funding program. As mentioned above, we have added significant term to the maturities in our secured funding liabilities, and since a large portion of those liabilities come from investors who utilize the tri-party repo platform, our pro forma and actual intraday credit from our clearing banks has been meaningfully reduced. We've extended the weighted average maturity of our secured funding book from less than 30 days to now well in excess of 120 days. This is now a disclosure metric in our public filings. Extending the maturity and limiting rollover risk are the most powerful tactical steps that can be taken by bank dealers immediately to reduce the intraday extension of credit. Since the credit extension takes place at the maturity of the trade, creating a longer and staggered maturity profile can yield significant risk reduction. The Tri-Party Reform Committee has worked to identify the issues and put forth recommendations for the remediation of the gaps that became apparent in 2008. Many of those recommendations are now in practice or in scope and on a clear timeline. Many of the enhancements to the settlement and confirmation process have created increased stability and added clarity. It is clear, however, that the main and most important goal of reducing intraday credit extension has not yet been achieved. It is also clear, however, that the responsibility of this cannot be solely assigned to the two clearing banks. We in the bank dealer community have to take the immediate and incremental steps available through our liability management practices to become a much bigger part of the solution. There is no single operational solution or systems development that can solve this issue completely. What is required is collaboration between the bank dealers and the two clearing banks to provide a set of strategic steps to begin a tactical but meaningful reduction of intraday credit extension in parallel to building the operational and systems enhancements. We believe that the status quo is unacceptable, and by beginning this reduction through prudent liability management, we can reduce risk during the proposed build-out by the clearing banks. At Morgan Stanley, we've seen considerable results achieved by working directly with the clearing banks to take these tactical steps. Morgan Stanley is committed to taking the steps necessary to build investor confidence in this important funding channel. The market's liquidity is provided by investors who seek to have transparency to their collateral, a clear understanding of the settlement process, and the information they need in real time to make appropriate risk decisions and to effectively manage their collateral and counterparty exposures. We have worked with the Tri-Party Committee and other industry groups to move this reform forward. Morgan Stanley is committed to achieving the entirety of the goals laid out in the committee's report and has invested and executed on changes to our processes well in advance of the scheduled timelines with the goal of meeting the needs of our investors. This work is a top priority of our firm, and we will continue to work at both an industry and a firm level along with our regulators to add stability and durability to this platform. Again, we are appreciative of the opportunity to discuss these important issues and look forward to providing this committee with any level of detail and information that will be helpful as you deliberate on the